CMA Part 1, Section D, Essays. Essay 9 is on agenda. Holt Manufacturing just completed its first year of operations, meaning there is no opening stock, finished goods work in process, and raw material. Holt produces a new type of computer accessory for storing and charging laptop computers. Okay. Planning the production levels from month to month in this business has been challenged. Month on month is difficult. Managers and sales associates are making new business contacts and securing orders, but the sales level each month can vary. So there is more volatility in the sales. So predictability is an issue. Budgeting would be a problem for this business. The company is located in the state of Indiana in the US and currently only sells to small retailers in the Midwestern part of the US. The company's sales force is working to identify new sales opportunities in the areas outside the Midwest. Sidney Wright is the sales manager of Holt Manufacturing. Wright believes that the projections for sales to increase over the next 2 to 4 years are accurate based on the planned expansion of the company's sales market. Okay. Olivia Redner is the production manager for the business. Redner is struggling to prepare production forecast based on the volatile sales levels in the new business. That's the problem. See, when the sales volatility, because sales is the basis of your budgeting. If there is sales volatility, there will be problem in production. Maybe you will produce more, resulting in overproduction, or you will produce less, resulting in many missed customers' orders. Production levels are determined using forecasted sales data. Following is the summary of the results for Holt's first year of operations. Sales has been $1.5 million. Unadjusted cost of goods sold $970,000. Selling and administrative expenses $528,000. Ending balances in the inventory accounts are as shown below. Raw materials, work in process, and finished goods inventory $14,500. Holt estimated overhead at the beginning of the year to be $300,000. Overhead, it's a composite number, means fixed and variable are combined. Overhead is assigned based on the machine hours, that is the allocation base, which were estimated to be 48,000 for the year. Actual machine hours this year were 41,000 and actual overhead incurred this year was 260. So this was the estimated overhead, this was the actual overhead, this was the estimated activity, and this was the actual activity of hours consumed. So that's the data for you. The first question says, calculate the amount of Holt underapplied or overapplied overhead and show your calculations. So this is how you lay down your working. You need to first find the predetermined overhead rate. How do we do that? Estimated manufacturing overhead upon the estimated base, and here we go. This is your estimated overhead divided by the estimated base. That will give you the overhead application rate. Next step would be to apply overhead. How do we apply? The rate calculated here, predetermined overhead rate, would be multiplied with the actual number of hours used in production. This will give you the overhead applied. We need to find the over and under applied. So let's do our working right there and then. We have $300,000 estimated overhead, 48,000 is the estimated base. So that gives us the overhead application rate of 6.25. Overhead application rate is $6.25 per machine hour. How do we apply or absorb our overhead? We just multiply this rate with the actual activity, 41,000. 6.25 multiplied by 41,000. This is the overhead absorbed, 256, 250. What are we required to find out? Under or over applied, or sometimes called under or over absorbed. So this is what we have applied to production, 256, 250 applied. Now one very fine point, please mind it. This is applied. If we compare your applied overhead with the budgeted, applied overhead with the budgeted, that was it. This is called the volume variance, called the production volume variance. Production volume variance. Applied versus budgeted is the production volume variance. But applied versus actual, This gives you the under or over applied overheads. So let us compare. This is what we have applied, 256, 250, and this was the actual overhead. What does it mean? We applied less. Actual overhead was more. It means our overhead was under applied, under absorbed, under recovered, under allocated. By what amount? The difference between what has been absorbed versus what was the actual expense, and the difference is 3750. This 3750 is an adverse variance. Why? Because we applied less overhead, the actual cost was more, under applied, under absorbed, under recovered, under allocated, whatever you want to say. This is the difference which is bad for the company. Your estimation was wrong, actual expense was more. So that's how you laid on your working. 3750 under applied, under recovered. That's all. Question fully done. Next, identify and describe two different methods whole could use to allocate this under applied or over applied overhead at the end of the year. Now this is an important part. We have an under applied overhead 3750. There are two possible treatments. First one, when we think that this is an immaterial amount, it's an under applied, remember, it's an under applied overhead. And we believe that's an immaterial amount. How do we know it's immaterial? We'll make comparisons. We'll compare it with the overall level of sales, the amount in the CGS unadjusted, the amount in the work in process and finished goods. If this amount appears significantly smaller than the numbers available in these 3 or 4 accounts, we consider it as immaterial amount. When your under or over applied is considered immaterial, we close it directly to CGS. Like, let me post it through an entry. It's an under applied overhead. 3750 is under applied. Means you have applied more, we have applied less, actual expense for more. This difference will be close to CGS. You have to increase your CGS if it is immaterial. This is method 1, where we consider this applied, under applied or over applied is immaterial. So in this case, since it is under applied, we will have to increase our cost by debiting the CGS, the cost of goods sold, with 3750. And we have to close our manufacturing overhead applied account. We credit the manufacturing overhead applied account with 3750. We will need to increase because your overhead was under applied, so we need to increase the expense by debiting CGS, which is an expense account, crediting the manufacturing overhead applied account. Now, let's say if it was over applied and we thought that this amount is immaterial. If it is over applied, means you have charged more expense. You need to reduce your expense. In that case, what you will do, you'll credit your CGS and debit your manufacturing overhead applied account. Applied account will then show a zero balance. This is the case if it is considered as immaterial. You either debit it to CGS or credit it to CGS, thereby eliminating the balance available in your manufacturing overhead applied account. MOHAPP means manufacturing overhead applied. Now, the second method, if this amount is considered material, you don't have to write this much. This is just for the sake of your understanding that how do we treat the under and over applied in comparison with the level material or immaterial. If we determine that this amount is material and it is under applied, and this was the case of under applied, this was the case of over applied, and this amount is material and it's under applied, we need to increase our cost, but this time not CGS alone. This amount will be prorated partly to CGS, partly to work in process, partly to finished goods. Maybe with a certain proportion with the amounts available in these accounts. CGS has a total of 90% of the total, so the 90% of this amount will be charged here. Work in process 5% and this is 5%. So you will split this 3750 within these 3 accounts and credit your manufacturing overhead applied. You don't have to explain this way. Remember, you just have to give it in text that if it's immaterial, charge it all to CGS. That's all. Or else if it's material, charge it into proportionately to CGS, work in process and finished goods. This was in case of under applied. If it's over applied, you have charged more expense. Now you need to reduce your costs. Some of it will be reduction in your CGS, work in process and finished goods, and you debit your manufacturing overhead applied. So this is the treatment, gentlemen, ladies. When it's immaterial, either CGS is debited or credited. If it's material, then the amount is prorated in these 3 accounts depending upon the amounts available in these 3 accounts separately. Right? So these are the 2 treatments. charge it to all to CGS. This is the first method if it's immaterial, or prorate it to CGS, work in process, or finished goods. That's the second treatment. And you just need to give it in writing. No need to give the journal entries. That was the sake of your knowledge. And we are done with this question. Next, identify and explain the most appropriate method to allocate this under-applied or over-applied overhead in this situation. Again, it will be determined through materiality. Sometimes management sets certain thresholds. They might have set a certain tolerance limit that under and over-applied within the 4% of CGS will be considered as immaterial. Above this will be considered as material. So this threshold might have been set by the management, or we can just see the amount. If there is no such threshold, we can just compare the amount with the account balances of CGS, work in process, your sales or finished goods. This comparison will reveal whether this amount is big or small, right? So materiality first should be considered. What we should do with this amount depends upon materiality. So 3750 apparently is a relatively small amount. How can we say small amount? Just go back to the scenario and you will see that we have significant amount available in the CGS, work in process, finished goods. Comparing these three amounts with the under and over applied amount you have, it's very small. See? So it's immaterial, it's small. So it could, most appropriate treatment of this is to just simply close it to CGS. Since it's under applied, we have to debit CGS and close the manufacturing overhead applied account. Now, that's the solution to this question. This is the treatment because it is immaterial. All charge to CGS. Now, next question says, this is the description of all. Comparatively speaking, finished goods, work in process, and sales, so the amount is immaterial, so close to CGS. Identify and explain the impact of the under-applied or over-applied overhead has on Holt's profitability for this year. Since you have agreed in the previous part that we will charge the whole of this 3750 under-applied to the CGS, thereby debiting the CGS, CGS will go up. The whole of this will be charged to CGS. How would it affect the profitability? Let us go back to the scenario and see what do we have there. These are the numbers. We have sales, unadjusted cost of sales, and selling and administrative expenses. Without the under and over applied treatment, what do we have right now? 1.5 million is sale, 970,000 is your CGS, and 528 is your selling and admin expenses. So we have $200,000 profit. Apparently, even if profit is small, but still good, there is profit. Now look at what will happen. We have an under applied overhead of 3750. If we charge the whole of this to CGS by debiting the CGS, CGS will go up. Now it will be 1.5 million is the sales. CGS now will be 97350. 973,750. And deduct your selling and administrative expenses of 528. If you solve this all, you will see that your profit, even small, has now converted into a loss, 1750. This is bad. This is the impact. Even the profit was very small, but charging the under applied overhead all to CGS will convert this profit figure into a loss. That's the impact, and of course a bad impact. So that is what you would write here. See, you can give it in a paragraphic form, or you can just give it in a single column, charging all the under applied to CGS and now giving you net loss. Next question. Explain how activity-based costing might help Holt in the future. Activity-based costing refines costing system. We split the cost in various cost pools for overheads. Machining, drill press activity, material handling, setups, etc., etc. It's a more accurate cost allocation system. It refines and improves the cost analysis. It will also identify certain costs which are non-value added. This will also help us to control the costs. So not only it will help you to determine accurate costing. It will also help you to control cost, to eliminate those activities that are non-value adding. ABC cost drivers have better cause and effect relationship, so you will know exactly what causes the costs to rise. Why the cost rise, you will know the reason. Why handling cost goes up? Because we have more parts to handle. And when our production process becomes more complex, more components go into manufacturing a product, the handling cost will go up. We have a variety of products to make. A, B, C, X, Y, A1, A2, A9. Since there are so many items we make, our setup cost will go up. We will know the reason why our costs go up, because we have the causes, what causes the cost to go up. So as we said earlier, ABC provides more accurate costing. So around these lines, just 3 to 4 points covered in nicely worded paragraph would be sufficient to get the full credit for this question. And jumping on to the last question, what type of budgeting could HALT use to monitor performance? As we have just seen a little while ago, that the business is facing trouble. Why? Because the sales are volatile. When there is volatility in sales, the recommended approach is to use flexible budgeting. Flexible budgets are recommended when there is sales volatility. Sales vary from month to month basis. So in that case, flexible budgets are recommended. Since we make budget for a particular level of activity, let's say 800,000 units was planned for the year. If the actual output and sales went up to $850,000 or fell to $750,000, we can revise this budget. This is called flexible budgeting. Flexible budget is a budget that can accommodate the changes in activity. Budget that can be revised as per the actual level of activity attained. So we can then compare our actual results of $850,000 versus the budget of $850,000. We can compare our performance of $750,000 units, 750,000 units versus 750,000 budget. So it's basically a revised budget based on the actual level of output achieved. That's why it's a good approach, right? You can compare your actual results with the budget because they are based upon the same quantity. And hence, it's a much better approach for performance evaluation and hence for the improvement of your processes. So that completes your essay type number 9.